What we're going to be talking about with you today is Telltale's Guardians of the Galaxy game, Episode 2, Under Pressure.
Yeah, so we're going to give you a bit of our thoughts, just random little things, what we thought about the story, the soundtrack, the synopsis, and this is a spoiler-free review, so if you guys are worried about us telling you what's going to happen, I mean, we won't be telling you. We'll share little details here and there about what we felt and what happened in our journey in the game, because everybody has a different take when they're doing the story.
Telltale experience, exactly.
Yeah.
So when playing these Telltale games, what I like to think about first is how it just picks up right from the first episode. Like it just literally, if you haven't played the first episode, it's obviously not going to be too much of a spoiler, but it just picks off right from where it starts, or right where it ended. I'm sorry, and just hops right into the action, which is really cool of the game to do.
It is really cool. I mean, it picks off right where it left off, and I mean, if you had been waiting for a couple weeks for the episode to come out, it kind of sucks a little bit. But what I did was I played the first one and went straight to the second one, which just felt so right because it just went straight into it, and you didn't lose immersion in the game. But yeah, it's a great way to just start the game. They're honestly, Telltale Games is master craft in storytelling. Guardians, as I played it, I don't know if you felt the same thing, but they grabbed so much from the Marvel Studio movies, and they made it exactly if it was a game playing with Chris Pratt and all that shit. I don't know.
Back from what you said about having to wait for so long, unlike you, I had actually wait. I bought the first episode day one, and right when it stopped, the cliffhanger. I mean, I know what Telltale's trying to do. I played plenty of Telltale games, and they tend to do that often. But the only thing I would hope they would do in the future is kind of release their games a little sooner, or give us at least a date at which we expect it, rather than we're just kept in the dark the whole time, which is kind of annoying. But once again, right when I picked up on that second episode, it kind of just instantly felt like, hey, I just played that last episode. Like I'm already back into it, which is a really cool feeling, and it's something Telltale really does well. And like you were saying about the whole Guardians of the Galaxy thing, they really did well with the. Trying to get it more like not so they did more like the movie, but not so much like it, where it's like their own thing, but it's still like you still love these characters and recognize them and
very true.
Care what happens to them.
Yeah, going off of what you said, like the Telltale Games has a great way of kind of like reconnecting you with the story. Like you said, it did start off right where it left off. The thing that I enjoyed more was like the clips where it shows you what's going to happen next, but they're not really showing you what's going to happen.
It's like just private conference.
Yeah, of what they're saying to a camera, which I like because it doesn't give you a spoiler for the next episode, but
it's not giving it away.
Right, but it's just giving you this like feeling of like, what the hell are you talking about, and why is it so interesting?
And it's very Guardian-esque, so kind of how to do that. Like they're not trying to give something, but something I wrote about that in particular, it kind of does drag on. Like, I don't know if you noticed in the first episode, but in the second episode, it really kind of dragged on with the whole conference. It's funny, but it gives you a little more deep dive into the characters, but then after a while, it just kept going. It's okay, like, I'm not seeing anything new. Like, I just want to, basically just a social commentary, which is awesome, though, because, we love the Guardians.
Yeah, we love Guardians, right? Yeah.
So jumping right into the story, a quick little rundown of it. The Guardians obtain a Eternity Forge, which is an artifact that causes some problems for the Guardians. Obviously, we won't give too much away there.
Yeah, it's a little bit spoilerish if you kind of figure out what that thing is. You don't figure it out towards almost the end of the episode 1 if you haven't played Tangled Up in Blue yet. It does explain what that is, and in episode 2, Under Pressure, it does go more into further detail on what it is.
On what
it does, but you still don't quite understand it, and the whole episode is kind of just trying to figure out what that is.
So yeah, it is based around this Eternity Forge, but mostly when you kind of realize what the game does come down into is the character relationships and how they all react with each other, and which is something we want to point out. The character, when you're with these characters, you should genuinely start feeling for each of them. Like especially in Rocket in this episode 2, like you'll see, kind of delves more into his backstory, which gives us an emotional connection, a new side to Rocket that I haven't really seen. Well, obviously we haven't seen from the movies.
Yeah.
And it really makes you feel more for that character, empathetic for him.
And just to be clear, I mean, we are fans of the Guardians, but we've never really read the comics. We never really dived into the stories behind them. We just seen them here and there. We didn't get our first appearance from them until we saw the Guardians movies, and we kind characters would be great. And like he said, the game does go deeper into the stories of these characters, certain characters, but Episode 2 does go more into Rocky, like he said, and it does kind of show you a different side to these characters. And I mean, Gamora, Drax, everything is kind of changing a little bit. So what you know, if this is the only way, or the movies is the only way you've known about these characters, this does give you a different side on what would happen if things did change. If it wasn't like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if the story was different. And that's what I like about Telltale games, is that they are allowed to change stories and give you a different, just overall, not illusion, but immersion to these characters that is quite different than whatever else you've seen.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there. As far as Telltale goes with storytelling, let's kind of talk about the engine a little bit, because Telltale. I don't know if you guys are all familiar. Telltale has its problems, its lag, and it's frequently it's really annoying. You don't see it as much in here in the Guardians, which is great, which I really doesn't take away as much. Yeah. But you do still see it. There's one scene in particular. I went to go speak with Rocket in the engine room, and I go down to the engine room. I ask Star-Lord, goes down to him, and then says, "Hey, Rocket," and then Rocket says, "Oh, what's up, Quill?" And then it just ends with "Nice talking to you." And I was like, wait a minute, did I miss something here? So I went back into the same thing occurred. Yeah. So I was just like, I don't know if it was a problem. Like maybe I've already ran out the conversations, but it was the first time I saw him in a while. So that kind of took away from me a bit, which Telltale has a little history of it. And
it is a big thing with their engine. Like I wish that they would I mean, it sucks. Like I don't want to say that I want them to stop making games, because I don't. Like they make great games. But I want them to take a little, just stay back for a bit, work on their engine, and just get things, flowing a little better. Get their stuff together. Because you do play the games, and the games are great, stories great, and everything. You just, when things like that, like in the engine, you kind of lose immersion in the game, and when you get out of it, you're just like, oh, what, like.
It doesn't feel as real. Right. Telltale makes it feel real for you, which is
exactly,
like you're actually. You're crafting the story.
Yeah, exactly. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
As far as the engine, I think we're okay. Let's move on.
Okay. All right. Another big. Well, that was a big negative kind of. But another thing I would like to talk about is a big positive is the soundtrack. Soundtrack is amazing. Like it just fits so well. Well, like I said, like Marvel Cinematic Universe, like the movies, the way that they created those characters, the music for those movies is so well done. And I feel that they brought all that from the movies to the game, and it gave this game like this vibe. It was just really good.
Like with me, like I don't know if this happened to you when you're playing these moments in this game, and then that song strikes that you've known. Yeah. It just puts that smile on your face. You're like, okay, like I just I'm more into this. Like there's one scene in particular. You're on the ship, you're roaming around as Star-Lord, and you go up to his rad mix, is what they call it here, and press it to play, and it starts with "You Make My Dreams" by Daryl Hall and Notes, and it was like it put a big smile on my face. You're just walking around the ship as this song's playing.
Yeah, everywhere you go, it just keeps following.
It's just like you just keep hearing it, and then it switches to the song by the Buzzcocks. I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
I Can't Touch It or something like that.
Yeah, I Can't Touch It or something like that. But that one's also a great song. Song I heard thought of again. You know what I mean? Like it's just like then it came. Oh, that's so awesome! Like they brought it back to me.
Oldie but goodie.
Oldie but goodies, exactly. So as far as the soundtrack too, I mean, do you have anything else with that?
No, actually, that's it. So just really well done.
Kind of bouncing off soundtrack, let's go into like the dialogue as far as the dialogue. I think is really strong here. Like we were saying earlier with the character development, it was really developing a side of the characters that we may not have seen, and we're seeing for the first time, and it makes it that more special as playing Telltale.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, like you are crafting your story here, and there's certain like just parts in the game where you could choose either to side with someone or side with the other person, and it does change the story a bit, but I mean not too drastically. But it does feel like things are left to you to create the story, and it does show you the characters kind of not evolve but change in a way where that's not what you expect them to be like, but it does kind of show that the characters are growing and they're changing, not for the better, but for the better and the worse, depending on, like I said, what you choose to do.
And this game especially feels when you turn down one character, you're definitely feeling like for the other character because you care about them all so much. And it's like I want them all to like me, of course, but it's just Telltale does that to you where they have to make you choose to do your thing.
Yeah, that's very true.
But I mean, it's just really funny and really cool. I want to point out with Groot as well. Only that he says "I am Groot" all the time. Slowly you start understanding Groot, like playing this game more like it. You can by his emotion, the way he's kind of saying things and projecting it, like you kind of like, okay, I know what he said, but like even though Peter's kind of like, oh, okay, buddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're like, nah, I think I have the gist of what he's saying a little bit.
Yeah, you kind of get that. You do get that.
And I love that.
Yeah, no, it does play a big part in the game. Like I said, things happen in the game, right? You know, you start to feel the sadness in what he said, and there is times where you speak to Groot, and he does say like, "I am Groot," but he says it a certain way where you're like, "Okay, I understand what you're saying here."
You got your little base of what he's saying,
exactly,
and then that makes you want to figure out for yourself what scenarios he's thinking. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
is there anything else that you wanted to dive more into?
With the character, I mean, speaking of the characters, I really do enjoy. I mean, mainly you're playing as Peter, Star-Lord, but there's some moments where you switch between characters, and it makes it's cool because it makes you feel you're part of
a team.
Yeah, you're the whole team as one. Like there's some action sequences we'll switch from Gamora to Peter to Drax to Groot. You know what I mean? And I think that's really something special that Telltale's always done and is continuing to do.
So, in conclusion, episode 2 was good. It wasn't the best that they had. It could have been. I feel like it just kind of left a little, like you said, dragged on a little bit. But I did feel that in this episode, you felt more for the characters than the first one, and it allowed you to be more immersed. Even though without those bugs, you know, you still kind of felt this certain part in the game in particular, which involves Rocket, is probably one of the best, like, most emotional things I've seen in a Telltale game in a while. This one actually had me like, oh my god, that I feel for him really bad. Like, this is really good. This is really well done, and you choose what you have to do, and it's really good. Like, but what do you think about the episode?
So what I think about the game, I think, like you said, it was really good as well. I really enjoyed it, but you know, there are those moments that it did drag on. Honestly, to me, like I do interested in the story as far as like where the villain's going and everything. But in the end, it's all about these characters, and that's what I'm most excited to keep playing for, and why I keep playing it. And I feel like as the episodes are going to go on, it's going to continue like that, and then towards the end of the episode, we're going to really feel a blow, just kind of like how we did in the second episode with the whole Rocket thing.
Yeah.
It's exciting, but then it's going to be a really sad feeling at the end. And you know, like we said before, Telltale just knows how to really tell a story, and if they just fix their engine a little bit, they'll be one of the best in the gaming right now at the moment.
At the moment,
as far as storytelling, yeah.
As far as storytelling, they're pretty good. They're good, or they're great, but yeah, just the engine guy.
Yeah, they can fix it. And like you were saying before, I guess the character models. I mean, they do want to do. They get that comic book feel. I feel like with every game they have it, and it's cool and it's awesome. But I think they can polish it just a little more, just to make it feel like a little
bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
More next gen-ish.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's
like a little nicer, prettier looking.
But I mean, honestly, they're probably more focused just delivering that story and hitting home. Because every Telltale game I played has always been pretty darn good. I mean, like
it's true. Yeah.
Batman was really good. Wolf Among Us, especially, was one of our favorites.
Yeah, Wolf Among Us was great.
The Game of Thrones game was pretty good as well, but that one was a little dragged on. But
I mean, yeah, it's a different kind of like storytelling that they do, and I do feel like the reason they kind of drag on might be because they just want to give you more detail into that story, you know, because exactly, more to do, more detail into the story. All that.
I don't know about you, because in scenes I tend to, like when I'm open, I'm let me mention this. Another thing that Telltale does really well for me is when you're in the room and you're looking at things and choosing things to like look at, interact with, and who to talk to, what to do. I'm really always afraid that I'm going to choose the last thing and not be able to go back. You know what I mean? Like, like, oh crap, I missed that. Like, I shouldn't have went to that first. You know, that's happened in Telltale games. And then, like we said again, the story, that's like, you want to interact with everything and know what they're doing because they're doing it so well. And there's been moments where I chose the story to continue. It's like, oh, like I forgot to go talk to him or forgot to go pick that up. And I don't know how they fix that because obviously it's not really there. Yeah, they can't. But that's just more of a plus for the story and what Telltale's doing for me.
It's funny, like, well, you mentioned that I'm one of those guys that when I have the ability to free roam, I'll actually free roam, so I look everywhere. And in one instance is you're Peter Quill, because that's who you are primarily, but you're walking around and there's a bunch of candy wrappers on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, when I was looking through the candy wrappers, Peter Quill's talking, he has his own little dialogue. He's like, "Who's leaving all this candy?" And then
not a spoiler, by the way.
Not a spoiler, no. And I was thinking it was Drax, and you'll kind of think it was Drax if you play the game. You'll understand. Yeah. You'll know why you would think it's him. And eventually you follow the trail, and at the end he just whispers, "It was me." He's the one been eating the candy, and then it's just like funny little
piece
like
they just kind of threw in that. It can easily be missed. And it's just
exactly.
And it's so hard. That's the thing, because you never know if you get through a scene. Like, did I miss something? Like, you're always going to go back. Like, there's another thing with Drax, a dialogue piece. Just going to mention real quick. Peter says, "All right, I'll see you, Drax. Like, I'll see you later, pretty much." But he's, "I'll see you, Drax." Then Drax responds, "I see you too." It's like
it's classic Drax.
Yeah, it's so funny just the way he just kind of said that. And once again, bravo, cheers to Telltale what they're doing.
Yeah, there's just some great parts. It just makes you laugh, makes you sad. Like, they know how to work your emotions. That's so well done.
Yeah, so that's gonna wrap everything up for today. And thanks again. Well, I'm Lex,
and I'm Ernie,
and we're Big Geeky. So we'll see you soon.
See you soon, guys.